Hello, welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're doing British Advanced Snap Shooting, Dark Mode. That's right, we're doing it at night with nods. A lot of you requested that in the comments, so don't be surprised. Okay, this was a learning event in a big way, and I think there's a lot of prerequisites that need to get out in front before we start showing video. First one of these was the night conditions. We had a perfectly clear starlit night, however we had no moon. So for Gen 3 goggles, this is pretty good conditions to operate under. Gen 2, not so much. We also were using a Psionics camera for part of the filming here, and under these conditions it's suboptimal for the Psionics. There just was not enough light for it to perform at its best thing, so we apologize for the quality of the video. We have to use some of it in this to just be able to record what you see. The other thing we want to talk about is the camera we recorded our actual night vision with. We were doing it through a set of PVS 14s with white phosphor, and we were using a brain exploder runtime camera that sets off to the side and gets the image that the user's actually seeing. And it does this by using prism technology, and it splits the screen in a 45-degree angle, allowing light to come through to my eye as the user and the other light to go to the camera. When you're splitting light, it darkens the image. So this is a little bit darker than what you were actually seeing through your nods. And we're taking this as a lesson learned. First time we did this. We know we need to do some better filming and be specific about the illumination conditions that we film under so you, the viewer, can see it better. But we wanted to get this video out to you because a lot of people asked for this, and at the same token, what we learned on our initial go-through. Unlike our daylight run, where we used an M1 Garand as control in various rifles to be AR-15s and 300 blackout, bolt-action 308 rifles, and AKs in 5.45, this time at night, everything was done with some variant of the AR in 5.56. It was decided against doing the M1 Garand. Mainly, there's no way to aim it with night vision. I mean, the technologies are just incompatible, and we didn't think there was anything to be gained by that. Now, what we did in our first run was use a PVS 14 mounted to an AR-15 using a Holosun 503C, and we couldn't get the brightness on the reticle to go low enough. We still did the run with it, but it almost washed out the image you were seeing through the nods, and it just made it almost exceedingly difficult to do. This proves that you have to have nods capable red dots to actually be effective in the dark. I know that sounds like a pretty basic thing, but a lot of people don't have that set up, or like in my case, I ran PVS 7s for a very long time. There was no way I was ever looking through a red dot with those, and I was depending on active IR, so it wasn't a setup that I really thought about much, but I went ahead and ran the drill with it anyways just to see what would happen. Here, let's take a look, and I apologize for the low quality of the Psionics video.
Ready?
Ready.
All right, march.
I can't see shit.
You let me know, Pang, when he's good. I'll tap the shoulder. All right.
Oh, and that turned my knot off. You gotta be about ending, right?
That's it.
Okay, that's it. Well, I don't think we're gonna have good results. I'm actually gonna go white light now.
Okay, hold on.
All right.
No, it's up.
Washed it out.
Washed it out. I was hitting my illuminator to help out our cameraman, so maybe that was running washout. Also here is, if you see, I've got a brain eater camera for my PVS 14 here, and that uses a lens splitter, so it does dull the image that's coming through. So it'll be interesting. Maybe that's part of it. We'll have to try it again with just pure nods.
I should mention the type of nods that we were using. Most of the nods used in this were some version or manufacturer's version of a PVS 14, with the exception of one of the shooters was running a dual tube PVS 31. The other type of nod we were using was the Psionics Aurora camera. It's not really a night vision device, but it gives you the ability to see at night better than the naked eye and your regular cameras. So in this case, the weapons mounted PVS 14 run was basically a failure. We're going to chalk that up to equipment setup and that we need to retest this. Obviously I will find a better mounting system for this because my rear backup sight was interfering where I could put the optic on my top rail, which necessitated the movement of my red dot forward. My red dot was not night vision compatible. I do have other night vision compatible ones and will be testing the night vision compatible red dot with PVS 14 weapons mounted in a future video, because we're definitely going to have to do a future one on this. The next shooter we had ran dual tube PVS 31s using passive aiming. They did have an EOTech XPS3 that was night vision compatible, and let's check out the results they got.
Ready. Ready. March. Remember, it's one shot only. All right. March. The rest of these you can remain standing. Okay, I'm without nods this time, so I can't see anything. What can you see, cameraman?
Doesn't look like it hit to me. We got something right here in the middle.
That was a ricochet.
Ricochet? Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing then.
I think my hit was somewhere down here because I see the flashing. Okay, so ricocheted over it. Okay. Yeah. Let's see what we did on our 70 and 50 target.
I have nothing on this one as well.
Okay. You don't want to use white light? No, we're all filming still. And on our final target, what do we got?
No hit here either.
Okay, so this was passive aiming using a PVS 31, and what type of EOTech you running? XPS3. XPS3 with NVG setting.
Next shooter ran this drill using their PVS 14 and an active IR laser and nothing else.
March. Might set the target on fire. All right.
I think I shot a ghost target there.
Yeah, you took one shot too many, but it's going to be interesting. I think you might have got hits on this one.
I don't know. I don't feel super confident. That is really effing hard at night.
Okay, without taking a look at our targets yet, compared to your day run with your LPVO, what did you think?
The LPVO, when I come up, I'm a lot more confident. When I come up, I can get that dot on target really quick. This, I've got... Driving the weapon is a lot less precise with an active IR laser. I'm not sure why, it just seems like it is to me.
Okay, let's go down and see what our target's got for us.
I have a feeling they'll support my conclusion.
Okay, no hits on target.
I might have possible hits on this one. It's hard to tell. Bottom left hand.
There's one right there in the middle. Is that a hit?
Yeah.
There's one over there too.
I'll get a little better focus here. Yeah, we're going to say he's got one there and one there, so he got the hits on this one. Let's go take a look at that 30-yard target.
I remember that target drop.
No such luck here.
I think one of these in the wood is yours, believe it or not, because one of the splashbacks I saw. So it's hard cover, so it still didn't count. So 2 for 5.
That's about what I expected.
All right, so that's what you felt when you pulled the trigger.
Yeah, like I said, coming up with the LPVO, I've got the rifle tight in my shoulder, and it's just a little bit easier to drive it accurately. When I come up with the active laser, it's just a lot shakier. I can get on target just as well, but trying to do it in that 2-second snap time is a lot harder for me.
All right. Cool.
This next shooter ran the drill using his PVS-14, attempting to do passive IR aiming using a non-night vision compatible XPS-2 EOTech, and he was having trouble, so he resorted to his laser designator a couple times to try to make up and get his hits. This was just a further version testing night vision compatible red dots and non-night vision compatible red dots to see if it was functional. Because sometimes you just got to run what you got, you can't run what you want to have.
I'll be the caller, you be the puller.
Okay, I'll do. Okay, yeah. You got two?
Okay, shooter.
Hold on, let me see.
Shooter ready.
There.
Pullers ready?
Ready. Ready.
Forward, march. That's index. Let's go see the hits. Shooter, how did it feel?
The first two felt decent. Third one I lost my reticle. And then the last one I wasn't sure exactly when it was popping up. I was kind of trying to anticipate, and then that threw me off a little bit.
Okay, so this was passive aiming with an XPS-2 with a non-NVG setting.
Is that a hit there?
Okay, I don't have my nods, so...
I got what looks like a ricochet, right? Oh, nope, that's a piece of dirt that flew up on it.
Okay.
What's that there? That's a hit.
Okay, got a hit.
Is that a hit by the right post, or is that dirt?
Where? Here? That is also a hit.
Okay, so
Well done.
2 for 2. All right, let's go check the 70 and 50 here.
That is a previous hit. That, I can't tell.
Yeah, that was about where the two previous ones were. So
There's one more right here.
Crossed up.
Yeah, there's one with the right here.
Alright, so one hit there.
Looks like we got one hit on this one.
Pulled a shot on this target.
Okay. So let's check our final target here.
Nothing.
I think you're underselling yourself here.
I can't see anything.
You hit him right there through the duct tape.
All right.
Hey. 3 and 5.
All right.
Alright, well, don't always go by how you feel, kids.
I guess. So one mic. Good stuff. So passive aiming, non-NVG reticle. Do you think if you had a proper NVG reticle, it would have been better?
I do, yeah, I
Okay.
do. And, yeah, just keep that distance between your reticle and your nods, you know, the same every time you shoulder the weapon, or you'll end up losing your reticle completely.
So lesson learned here, it can be done with a non-NVG reticle, but it's a lot more difficult.
The next shooter chose to do his run using both IR illumination combined with an IR laser. Let's see what the results he got.
Alright, I think I'm ready.
Pullers, are you ready? Ready. Forward, march. All right, shooter, call your shots.
First one missed, second one hit.
No, sounds good.
Third. Second target, honestly, I can't make a guess on that one, and the last one, I'm not going to try to guess. I was hopeful, but hope don't float.
I think I got a hit right here.
Yep.
It's the only fresh hit, I believe, right there.
Okay. One. Okay, so one, that corresponds to the top.
Looks like nothing to me on this one.
Okay. No.
Maybe one right there. That was dirt. Looks like you might have skipped the cover right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a big hit on the cover right there, but no go.
Alrighty. He's got a face full of splinters.
Additionally, the shooter running the PVS-31s decided he wanted another run to go through, see what results he would get, passively aiming with a XPS-3 night vision compatible red dot holographic sight. Let's take a look.
Stand by. March. Okay, what do we got, guys?
Looks like a fresh hit right there,
Alright.
and I think a fresh hit right here.
Okay, so 2 hits, alright.
Yeah, it's a hit, and so is that.
Excellent. See how we did on the 70 and 50.
Looks like 2 fresh hits.
Alright.
Nope. Subtract 1. That was dirt.
Okay.
1 though.
1 hit. Alright. And the real challenge. Might have pulled that one.
I think so. I don't see any fresh hits.
Alright. So, second run, a little bit of practice. Felt better, didn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so the key to this one all around is just practice a lot more than you're going to need in daylight.
All right, the results of this were less than optimal. The hits did not come as easily as they did in daylight. That's rather expected if you think about it. Night vision was definitely an aid. I can tell you on most of the run-throughs, except for the one that I shot, I was the person doing what we call the target caller. That means you have people pulling each of the lines, and as the shooter's moving up to the place where we want the target to pop up, I would stand behind the shooter, throw up my hands. That would tell the pullers to pull the target. I can tell you in those runs, I was not wearing nods, and I couldn't see jack shit. It was pitch black. We had the white size out of the IPSC targets to hopefully make it a little easier to see, and that really did not help. So the conditions that night of filming, to reiterate, were a cloudless night, plenty of starlight, however we had no moonlight. These are okay conditions for Gen 3, they're very suboptimal for Gen 2 and psionics. We chose not to run Gen 2 at all, we weren't going to get results, so we just bypassed it. We did some Gen 3 work, as you've been watching. We noticed under these conditions that you could see the targets when they came up, but it was difficult. The placement of the range had lots of foliage around it, so that cut down on the available light that the nods could amplify. There's nothing we can do about the range where we had it. We do intend to do this test again on an evening where we have optimal night vision conditions for the following reasons. One, so it's better for filming. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the psionics did not really work under these conditions, and with the way the camera we have working for the PVS 14 is, the better illumination we have, the better pictures we'll get to put on video for you all. Also, it's to learn. The second thing is important to learn. This was just straight up the first time. It's like, hey guys, let's get our nods together, let's get our aiming devices together, and let's just go put it out and run the drill and see what happens. There's some other things we have to do to be ready. In addition to having better filming conditions, we also have to mark out better, because when we do this drill in the daylight, we kind of know where the yardage lines are, so we can anticipate when, as the caller, you can have the pullers put the target out. At night, this was very, very difficult to do, and it's going to require some more preparation on our part to get that part of the test to go off smoother. Our hypothesis that we've come up with off this initial run-through is that due to the difficulty level, this may not be able to be done in 2 seconds. The laser aimers found that while the laser was definitely helpful, it took time to move the dot around and get it on target. The passive aimers found that they could get on target fairly quickly, but it was still a challenge, and that 2 seconds just may not be enough to do this. When we do our next test, when we have better lighting conditions, we are going to make a point to use some Gen 2 goggles as well, because that's an important thing. We have PVS 7s in Gen 2. We also have access to some Gen 2 monoculars that can be weapons mounted. And that's really super important because a lot of people still run Gen 2. And the cost difference between Gen 2 and Gen 3 these days, that's hard to walk away from a lot of people, especially if they're on really tight budgets. If we can, we intend to also use the psionics in both a helmet mounted and weapons mounted configuration to see what applicability that has under these conditions. The low cost of the psionics digital camera with its somewhat night vision capabilities under certain conditions does have an applicability. Additionally, we intend to do some other low light stuff with just iron sighted rifles, but more at the twilight period where you can still get some use out of the sights. before it becomes completely pitch dark. And we also intend to do a white light version of this drill as well, because a lot of people have no night vision at all but still have to fight at night. We still haven't worked out our exact methodology on that. We did do some practice with it that night and realized we're not quite there yet to get a viable test. But when we get that squared away and get some good video for you, we will be putting one up about that as well. We hope these videos on the British Advanced Snap Shooting System are helpful and informative and have applicability to your training program. We'd like to thank you for tuning in. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and watch for more night vision videos.